Hello everyone, JW here and welcome back to another episode of the East Lake Animal Education Centre, where this time we're starting with the speed build of the Eurasian Lynx habitat. All in all, this took about 90 minutes, an hour and a half. I went into it with a clear idea of how I wanted the habitat to look, but I selected the materials and plants along the way. I wanted as little indoor space as possible while still giving each lynx enough room to stroll, eat, sleep, play and drink. Additionally, should the lynx ever need to be separated for medical reasons or for transfer to another site, one of the indoor areas has its own outdoor area enclosed away from the main habitat. Let's talk a little bit about our inhabitants then. We have two Eurasian lynx that will be calling this habitat home, two sisters from a poorly rated and less than adequate zoo in Wales. These two individuals will probably never be released to the wild. They've never known a life outside of their previous homes, but I still wanted to give them and the visitors something authentic, and I recreated a temperate forest habitat for them that is large enough for each cat to find their own space should they want to, and also make the public look for the animals, as lynx prefer habitats that have lots of opportunities to stalk and to hide, and I wanted to encourage those natural behaviours. In the wild, Eurasian lynx can be found across most of continental Europe and Asia, typically in temperate, boreal or montane forests, but they can also be found in steppe habitats and rocky, rugged, desert-like habitats. They can also be found at high altitudes, but they do prefer lower-lying habitats, as Eurasian lynx struggle with thick, loose snow. The Eurasian lynx will feed on a variety of prey, including hares, squirrels, rabbits, foxes, grouse, boar, roe deer, reindeer and even young moose, which doesn't come as that much of a surprise though, when you consider that the Eurasian lynx is the biggest of the four lynx species. The Eurasian lynx can actually be split into 6 subspecies, these being the Turkestan lynx, Siberian lynx, the Balkan lynx, the northern lynx, the Caucasian lynx and the Carpathian lynx. The Eurasian lynx can live for 12 years in the wild, perhaps longer in captivity, but most wild lynx rarely live longer than 10 years. Really important for us to have lynx in our collection for a handful of reasons. The Eurasian lynx have nearly gone extinct across Europe many times throughout the dark history of humanity, and here in the UK there haven't been wild lynxes since the Middle Ages. There is hope for this species though, as they have been classified as least concern, which means their population is stable. The hunting of Eurasian lynx is banned in almost all countries except for Russia, Latvia, Estonia, Iraq and Armenia. Norway, on the other hand, has established a population goal for the species, and representatives from the counties of Norway decide on hunting quotas accordingly. These two girls, however, these two sisters, will become ambassadors to the British public for another reason, that reason being rewilding. The Eurasian lynx is potentially going to be re-established across parts of the UK, beginning with the Scottish Highlands and the Kielder Forest in Northumberland in England. Getting the British public used to seeing these animals and understanding the benefits that they can bring to the ecosystems here, and the potential threats too, will be integral to the success of the Lynx rewilding project, and indeed the whole rewilding of Britain. One positive would be helping to reduce deer numbers. The UK has no predators capable of taking down a deer, so a lynx would be an ideal candidate due to their preference of ungulate prey, thus providing a natural and humane way of controlling the booming deer populations in Britain. One drawback, however, would be livestock. A lot of livestock live outdoors in the UK. Sheep, chickens, pigs, cows, these fenced-in animals would make for an easy target for the lynx and thus create conflict with farmers. Nonetheless, the lynx will still play an integral role in rebalancing the UK's biodiversity and rewilding the wilds of Britain. So just finishing up on this habitat, I wanted it to look natural, I wanted it to feel mysterious, but also maintain that small zoo feel, so they put enrichment right near the viewing windows to keep things cost effective. Used plants that are natural, native to the UK, or planting that could survive the climate of the UK, and hopefully I've achieved that. Yeah, hopefully. I'll let you be the judge of that, but I feel like I have. So I will let you enjoy the rest of the speed build. and I will of course rejoin you after the speed build. Until then, enjoy the speed build, and you can find me on Instagram at JW_YT. See you soon. Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all enjoyed that speed build that we started with, and my voiceover sort of talking about the design elements and why I wanted to build the lynx habitat the way I did. We started over near the seal hab, just because we are going to make our way over to the lynx hab in just a second to see the lynx in action, but we finally have lots of guests over here. They all tend to congregate in this little bit. None of them really congregate here, which would be better because then the entrance to the cafe wouldn't be so clogged. This is new, of course. This will come into play later on down the line. Hint hint, wink wink. We have had our first deaths, unfortunately. Our male turkey, Zaharan, I think his name was. He died. So we just got our two females. Wherever they are. Here we go. And they're close to dying too. Oh, 3 females, sorry, not 2 females. And once the turkeys do pass on, we won't be replacing them. So Yodagent, Narlin, and bloody hell, Katsits and Howie will be our last eastern wild turkeys here at the park. Same for the chickens. When they eventually go, we won't be replacing them. They've got a long time to go yet. So what we might do is let the chickens breed, just to flesh out the numbers in this paddock. And how are our merino sheep doing? Oh, they haven't got too long left. So we'll see, we'll see. We've also had our first fallow deer death, which is unfortunate, but they are breeding, so the herd is being replaced. Yeah. Chengi's mum died. Tina. So, that's sad, but she's doing well. He's doing well, sorry. He's doing well without mum. Our keepers have stepped in and sort of kept him with the other deers. And there's a surrogate mum, Maddie. So it's all well and good. And yeah, as you're about to see, one of our doll sheep is about to die too. So things are getting old in the East Lake Animal Education Centre. So let's go check out what's changed since last time. You might have seen it in the speed build. I've added some guest services here. They're really popular. Probably a little bit too popular. You can see they're modern, but they're sort of designed to be a little bit temporary, and that may hint at what is yet to come. I've got three emu over here. We've got our big girl, Loana. We've got Lena, and then the smallest of the bunch, Arica, who's the one what was at the vets last time. So here we are then. Lynx hab starts here. First things first, though, I've taken the signs off of these gates. I was using them as, that's the sign with a hand on it, so you would push that one, so it was on here with a handle, and the one without it obviously isn't meant to be a gate. But in the game, the one with the hand on it means you can't go there, it means like stop. So I've removed those, but it's much busier in here now. Most people are looking at the emu, must be said, but the wallabies, lots of babies, and potentially some new neighbours on the way as well. I've inquired about getting some swamp wallabies in here, and maybe a couple of kangaroos as well. We'll see how things go. So our lynx hab then. Here it is in all its glory. It's a big habitat for 2 lynx, but we had the space, so why not give them more room than they need rather than not enough. So of course we've got this view here. Can we see any of our lynx anywhere? Probably going to be no-shows. Oh no, there's one. Just over there. Don't know where. And there's the other one following behind. They are two sisters, of course, from a zoo in Wales, although Leslie wasn't too kind about calling it a zoo, and given where they came from, I agree, it was an abysmal facility. So we've given them a much better home. One-way glass, of course. Leslie said she doesn't want bars, sorry, she doesn't want bars or cages or anything like that. So one-way glass. So you've got the glass viewing panels over there, you've got these here, and then you've got these here. Plenty of viewing opportunities. And then of course you're separated from the hustle and bustle by this lovely sort of planted border, so to speak. This first person camera that's coming on the 12th of April is going to be very useful for me. I don't use Tegid Cam. So let's go take a look at the Lynx hab. I really wanted to go for realism with this one more than anything. So you have keeper access here, and then the indoors is separated into two sections just in case one of them needed treatment. They would have access to this. And then they've got like a separate outdoor paddock that is caged in, but because it's only temporary holding facility, it's alright. And then of course they would slide these apart to give the lynx access to each other, because of the way that the habitats work, unfortunately, in Planet Zoo. I would have to do barriers here and here. It might work, but I've just left it shut for now. That's the problem with having ceilings on. So indoors then they've got enrichment, small food, and water. Of course keepers can't access this area, so it's fine. It's not, but it's fine. They've got pretty much the same, it's just mirrored on either side. And then our keepers access the hab here. So let's see how they're enjoying the new hab. We've got Mika and Lucy, our two female sister lynxes, and they just need a little bit more short grass. We can absolutely do that for them. Get rid of some long grass here, because realistically it probably wouldn't grow in the shade of these climbing structures. And there we go, they've got enough of everything, really. I mean, they want correct amount of soil, but they could have more. And then, yeah, I was aiming for 50% coverage. We've got 43. I could maybe add a little bit more ground coverage here and there, but it's not a priority for me at the minute. Enrichment is perfectly fine across the board. And yeah, so we have Lucy and Mika. And of course, outdoor viewing was also important, as in outside of the zoo. So you can't really see anything. You think, oh, there's rocks there, I wonder what's behind that. And then that's that. I spoke to Leslie since last time about my plans for this area, and she's considering them, and she agrees that the boating lake is no longer fit for use. Nobody uses it. There's nobody visiting for its natural beauty, which is a shame because it is a really nice lake. And local wildlife surveys have found no fish, a few species of underwater insect, and there's only ever like 2 or 3 species of bird that are here, but they only ever visit because there isn't enough food for them. So she agrees that although the East Lake is sort of historic and important to the heritage of the village of Dunswell, the area could be put to better use. So my plan, of course, is to drain this, sort of reform the lake here and here to keep this island, and have this as like a rescued waterfowl area. And then obviously this would be filled in, as would this. Reconfigure the car park and the entrance. It's not really fit for purpose, the entrance at the moment. And then of course we get to here. So of course we have our fallow deer habitat, and we'd gain this. And then of course we have our Dunswell Park, cultivated gardens, little playground, and you would cross the road here. Got park services, which in all honesty would probably stay where they are. We'd just maybe fill this in and then add access that way. And there's still vehicle access here. And then we'd have our potential zoo facilities. Bear in mind, I'm planning to build the entrance here to the zoo. We'd have our zoo facilities sort of opposite that. In fact, I think it's already marked out. Yeah, no parking, keep clear. So they would sort of drive in, and then there'd be a compound for sort of behind the scenes food storage and staff access and stuff like that. However, I have received a letter from the wonderful Leslie Harrington. So let's read that letter, but we're going to head over to the doll sheep because we're about to lose one of them. Ziar. That's Ember. There she is. She the one that had a child. Oh, she is. Another orphan on our hands. Poor little baby. Yeah, it's nowhere near adulthood yet, and it's going to lose its mum. Oh, that's very sad. Who's this one then? Ember. Yeah. Anyway, we'll hit play. And yeah, this letter from Leslie then. Let's read what it says. Dear Mr. W, I honestly do not know what to say other than well done. The East Lake Animal Education Centre has become the star attraction in the region. You have suitably housed all existing animals and significantly improved their lives, as well as housing 2 new species and boosting the conservation efforts of several species. In addition, the centre is also making a healthy profit, and that I'm sure you are seeing your fair share of. Where the centre is concerned, you've taken it as far as you feasibly can do. With this in mind, it is my great pleasure to announce that the Dunswell Parish Council have approved your plans to build a zoo on land between the Animal Education Centre, the Wildlife Corridor and East Lake Park. Additionally, as a gesture of goodwill and positive investment in the future of Dunswell, the council has signed over a plot of land northwest of the Animal Centre for the construction of a car park to serve the zoo exclusively. You can begin construction whenever you are ready. Just as a friendly reminder, your budget comprises of £500,000 investment from the Dunswell Zoological Society, £500,000 in private investment, £300,000 in lottery funding, £200,000 investment from the Dunswell Parish Council, and £300,000 investment from the Department of Conservation and Wildlife. This brings your starting budget to a grand total of £1.8 million. There will also be additional income trickling through from your involvement in the East Lake Animal Education Centre. You will hear from me again shortly with some specifics regarding how we'd like construction to proceed, but for now I will let you survey your land and put plans in order. Yours sincerely, Leslie Harrington, Mayor of Dunswell, Chair of the Parish Council. So we have just lost our doll sheep, unfortunately. She died whilst I was talking. Shouldn't laugh, it's really bad. So how are our doll sheep doing? Elderly, 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 not elderly. Is that it? Is that our... Oh no, here's one. An elderly. Aww. So... Oh, there's another one here. I think we've already checked this one, haven't we? Oh yeah, she's close to death. That's a horrible way to say it. I don't ever see them on this. Can they actually go on it? Kind of. Anyway, I think what we'll do then is we will see what doll sheep we have. There's these two from a private zoo and a custom seizure. Let's go for it. Just to keep the herd sort of ticking over. And we'll send them to the quarantine center. So everything's doing really well. Our lemurs are over here, very excited, joining a crowd. There are currently 8 lemurs. Some of which are infertile. Is that because they're using contraceptives though? No, it's not. They are just infertile because they are elderly. Oh, bloody hell. Right. Our lemurs are... Our lemurs are in trouble. So this one's not yet elderly. This one's not yet elderly. I'll tell you what then, we'll find our male. Andrew, who's down here, having a poo. Is he infertile? Or is it just because he's using contraceptives? No, he is infertile. So we will need to bring in another male then, unfortunately, to keep this troop of lemurs ticking over. And we will go for grade 3 food quality. And we just want to take... We'll put contraceptives on everything. Just until our male passes on. Wherever he is. This, probably him, right? No. Is he still eating? No. Where? That's a little baby. No, they're playing. Oh, look at them, they're playing. Let's go check on your daddy. There he is. So how old is he? He's got a few more years left in him. Okie dokie, so we've got Verity. And Zoe. So Zoe can go to the habitat. And when Verity's past her quarantine. Oh, Verity can go as well now, apparently. The Verity can go to the habitat. And those are our 2 new doll sheep. Just to keep things ticking over. Our llamas, how are they doing? Just over elderly, okay. Our reindeer, how are they doing? Oh, they're fine. They're not elderly yet. That's absolutely fine. What about our boa goats? Oh, they're just past elderly. Still got a ways to go yet. Oh, we've got penguin about to mate. Ah, look at the little penguins. They are quite literally inside each other. Oh, not what I wanted. There we go. Offspring due. She's mated with him. And he's one of ours. So we'll wait till she's had a chick. Ah, Natasha's got nobody. Oh, penguins are really enjoying this. So, where do we go now with the East Lake Animal Education Centre? We've used pretty much all the land that we can. Are the lynx here? They're seeing something I can't. Ooh, bit of a traffic jam here. I think that's because people are looking at the wallabies. So I'm just going to take this probably up to here. Make that wood. And the same along here. Make that wood. Oh no, the meerkats are about to die of old age as well. So yeah, we've taken the Animal Education Centre pretty much as far as we can do. But I only took the position of sort of tidying up and renovating the Animal Education Centre as a way of proving myself for building a zoo. Which brings us to this rather large plot of land. So we're talking right from this back corner here, all the way down here, all the way across here, and all the way back up here. This is of course the wildlife corridor and butterfly gardens, or pollinator gardens, which was my very first project before I started doing the series. It will hopefully be incorporated into the finished zoo in one form or another. Hopefully. So I suppose the next thing to do then is start construction on my zoo, which is this. Dunswell Zoological Gardens, Dunswell Zoo for short. And this sort of sandy area is going to be our entrance complex. However, I've got another letter from Leslie Harrington, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about what the DLC will mean for us and what the update means for us as well. So the next letter from Leslie is as follows. Dear Mr. W, congratulations, you are now the proud owner of a very large piece of prime land. I look forward to seeing the zoo develop into a thriving hub of conservation and education over the next few years. Nevertheless, as excited as I am, I must bog you down with some red tape. Here are the conditions you must adhere to when building your zoo, as defined by the Dunswell Parish Council. Number 1. Original planting and landscaping must be maintained wherever possible. Number 2. Where original planting and landscaping cannot be maintained, additional planting and landscaping must be created to compensate for the potential habitat loss. Number 3. Animal enclosures must not be built close to roads, streets, car parks or busy paths. This is to minimise the stress to the animals and to preserve the aesthetics of the village scenery. Number 4. In addition to maintaining as many existing natural habitats as possible, new habitats for native wildlife must also be created within the boundaries of the zoo. Number 5. Building and facility construction must not exceed a specified height limit. Number 6. All plans for expansions and additions to the zoo must be submitted for approval at least 2 months before construction is intended to begin. Number 7. All construction materials must be responsibly and sustainably sourced. Number 8. Once operational, the zoo must run on a minimum of 80% renewable energy. Number 9. Once operational, the zoo must be inspected at least once a year by an independent inspector on behalf of the Dunswell Parish Council. And number 10. The zoo must house a diverse, unique and educational collection of animals with a high conservation value. I'm sure you will find all of these conditions easy to agree to and follow, since they match your own very high standards as well as those of your company, the Dunswell Zoological Society. It has been an absolute pleasure working with you thus far, and I eagerly await to see what magnificent creatures you plan on bringing to this small village. Yours sincerely, Leslie Harrington, Mayor of Dunswell, Chair of Parish Council. Sorry, not City, Chair of Parish Council. So, entrance plaza, and then I'm thinking, off to the left here, we do maybe Australia, and then straight ahead I was thinking maybe Africa, and then to the right I'm thinking Europe, North America, and then sort of the back of the zoo, and then eventually the East Lake Animal Education Centre, and all this area will be Asia. That is my plan. Whether that plan stays is a different matter. This will possibly be the last episode before the 1.9 update and the Wetlands Animal DLC. Because this is a modded series, I will have to wait until all the mods that I use are updated to 1.8. 1.9, sorry. Until all the mods I've used are updated to 1.9. So there might be a bit of a delay in that regard with mods. The animals we can sort of wait for, except for the modded animals that's already in here, like the chickens and the turkeys and the sheep, the pigs, the donkeys and the goats and the sheep, the emus, the wallabies, the alpacas, the boa goats, and everything else in here is just vanilla. But also, because you haven't seen it in... Oh no, you have seen it, sorry, yeah. The fur rock, that's a mod. So all these beautiful pieces here, and quite possibly one of my favourite pieces, this like windowed rock, that's a mod. So I'd need to wait for that to be updated to 1.9. And then of course there's the animal mods and the free build mod, which I do use of course. And then there's another mod called the Frontier Pack, rather ironically, which is North American foliage, and I have used that in the car park area. Let's just What animal has escaped? Oh, it hasn't escaped. I got this last time. It hasn't escaped. So this is what I've also been working on. Thanks for visiting. Come back soon. Drive safe. And then you bit it, and it's an exit only. But there is modded foliage in here. I think this one's modded foliage. Elm tree 6. It looks modded. I might be wrong. But there's definitely modded foliage in here. So I'd have to wait for that to update as well. Ooh, spoilers. So that's where we're at, really. So this is probably going to be the last episode for a while, just until the mods sort of catch up with 1.9. This is assuming that 1.9 doesn't... Sorry, this is assuming that 1.9 does break the mods. It might not, but I'd imagine there's some issues somewhere. But Dunswell Zoo will be on its way. When that will be, I have no idea. But as soon as I am able to get Dunswell Zoo up and running with mods and with the new update and the new DLCs, we will begin construction on Dunswell Zoo. I'm not going to do the entrance plaza as a speed build, and I probably won't do the removal of the trees and stuff as a speed build. But I am thinking, we've got entrance plaza here. This area over to the left would be a good one for Australia. It's not... Oh, we've got another turkey about to die. It's not a massive area. We've got entrance here, so essentially all this I'm envisioning would be Australia. We don't have that many Australian animals, so if I go... Oh, the turkey's died. If we go for continent Oceania, so we've got the wallaby, which is the least concern, but it's always an attractive thing, so we'll definitely bring the wallabies over from the education centre. Swamp wallabies, again, not a vulnerable species, but we'll definitely include that as well. Dingo, probably bring some dingoes over if we can. Emus, yeah, probably bring the emus over. They are a least concern, 700,000, but we can have up to 8. I think we've got 3 at the minute, so koalas we're definitely going to have. Kangaroos, we might have them. I do want them, but we'll see if there are any other kangaroo species. Cassowary is going in my Asian area, because they're sort of found Papua New Guinea and Indonesia, Southeast Asia, yeah. So there aren't that many for Australia. Could have sworn I had the wombat, but apparently I don't. So there's the wombat as well. So there aren't that many Australian species, really. So I think we can go ahead and build the Australia zone first. I don't think, off the top of my head, that any of the wetlands DLC animals are Australia. Let's see what we got. We've got the wild water buffalo, we've got the red crowned crane, we've got the short-clawed otter, we've got the capybara, we've got the spectacled caiman, the something newt, I think it is, or something salamander, and the lechwe I forgot what it's called now though. The Nile Lectuary, yeah. None of them are Australian, that's fine. So I think that's going to be the plan. Entrance, get Australia sorted, which will of course clear a little bit of room in the Animal Education Centre, because our wallabies will be moving over, our emus will be moving over. That's it for Australia. But that does free up 2 habitats. And then we've got a 3rd habitat here. My plan for this is very similar to what Chester have done. So Chester have a couple of old enclosures where they house animals that are waiting to go into a new enclosure, or surplus animals. So for example, at the minute they've got a couple of these. In one there's Blesbok, which they're waiting to go into the grasslands expansion when that starts. And in another one they've got dusky pademelons. So I'm thinking we can do something like that with this. So it's going to be like a multifunctional habitat. It can house a few different species comfortably until they're moved across, which of course gives them time to breed and get used to people and stuff like that. And yeah, obviously as time goes on, plans may change, but definitely we need to start drawing the crowds away from Eastlake Animal Education Centre to my zoo, but also maintaining the popularity of the Eastlake Animal Education Centre to keep the funding flowing through for that. It may mean that some animals are allowed to sort of die off, for lack of a better term. What's a good example? There aren't any good examples. So our llamas, for example. We've got llamas and alpacas, and I want to get guanaco. Yeah, guanaco. These, they are least concern, population in the wild unknown, but they are a conservation success. They very nearly went extinct and sort of bounced back from the brink because their habitat was preserved in time. So I want to do something with that. Obviously, we don't need guanaco and llama and alpaca, so something's got to go there. So on and so forth. You get the idea. And that's basically the plan. Let's go check on our wallaby that's about to grow up. We'll put contraceptives back on, I think, because they're breeding like wallabies. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have all enjoyed. Let me know your comments below. I always like to hear from you. You can also find me on Instagram at jw_yt. Do not forget to let me know what you think I should do with the lake. It's a lot of wasted space, but it is iconic. That's the issue. Nonetheless, I've been JW. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you whenever I see you. Let's look forward to the update and the DLC on the 12th of April. Until then, stay safe, stay kind, and bye-bye for now.